Make sure you check the descriptions for any links to any good sites or articles. Come up with your own opinions and think for yourself. But I'm tired of kids being used as kind of political pawns, or there's a reference to kids all the time. And it was funny. I saw a Bill Burr. He was talking on I think it was Conan, and it was like, yeah, Conan, don't you think that that's what I remember I was doing when I was 4, tuning into the debates. What kids tune into politics at such a high level, where they're worried about entitlement programs and fiscal spending and monetary policy and what type of defense, or if we have the right strategic decisions being made across the globe. I don't think that's what kids are worried about. Kids just kind of follow the general tone of what's going on. But there's always this. I see these videos where not a lot of right leaning ones. No, not a lot of conservative ones. I haven't seen it, just because it just seems more of an identity politics type of play. It's more of an emotive play that I think's going on, where it's they'll be like that, and it was from the very beginning when Trump won. He's like, what are we gonna tell our kids? What are we gonna tell our kids in the morning? It's gonna be a sobering conversation for our kids. It's like, what's a kids care? Kids just want some like frosted flakes, and some cinnamon treats and some candy. Just give your kids candy for breakfast or something. They'll be fine. They don't care. They're not focused on that. What kid is focused on politics? I'm sure if you look at the demographics of who's watching what video as far as politics go, it's not kids. Like children like I'm sure teens are, if we're going to consider teens. Maybe I think it might apply to teens, but a lot of times it's like children, like 6-year-olds, kids that are still learning how to add and like multiply and divide, or might not even have gotten there, like 4 too. You see it, they're trying to teach them. It's always like whatever the identity politics thing is, it might be about race, and it'll be somebody sitting them down saying that America's racist or the president hates, and then there'll be like a kid crying, or it'll be somebody just giving like a monologue of what am I going to tell my kids. And it's like, oh, I mean, maybe it applies. Maybe it's perfectly reasonable because that's what applies to your kids. But a lot of the time, it's just like, some of the stuff you'll hear is like, I got to tell them to, and a lot of times it's just normal advice. It's just normal advice, like don't be rude. It's normally comes down to what I would sum up as don't be rude and be cautious. But the spin is it's all because they're a woman, or because they're African American, because they're Latino, or because they're maybe gay. The gay ones I think goes differently. It's like, oh, or transgender. There's always like, it'll be cautious and be a reasonable person, but there's this evil cabal out to get you, and I don't understand how it keeps coming back to kids, and I just don't like seeing kids being used for political gain in this sense. I just don't think it's appropriate. One thing, I think that's all that needs to be said, is I just don't think it's appropriate for kids to be used to try and figure, and it's always kids used, and then the kind of punch or the kind of giveaway is if you don't agree with my policy, or it's trying to paint somebody as unfeeling. Because what came to mind just now was the gun debates. As if you don't want to put on a full-scale gun ban, which is what far leftist people want. They don't want gun control. There are many regulations on guns, and there's always talk of a gun show loophole, which there's videos kind of disproving that there is a gun show loophole. It's a felony to sell somebody a gun without a background check, and the people at gun shows don't want to go to jail just as much as anybody else doesn't. But it's just like, oh, if you don't care, you're unfeeling, and it's always that's when you bring in kids. It's like, oh, what if this is your kid? Do you don't care? I mean, there was the Jimmy Kimmel thing. It was if you don't support this type of healthcare policy, then maybe you just don't care about kids who have diseases. And I just don't think that, of all the name calling that goes on, and maybe you can argue that that's just politics and that's just where politics is heading. I don't want kids to be used as a topic, and I kind of want that to be something that's off bounds. People have attacked Trump's kids, have attacked Barron Trump, and there's just it's just when it comes to that topic of just bringing children into politics, I just don't think that is right. No matter what side anybody's on, it just doesn't seem right to bring kids in to politics.